Hi guys, this is Black Kitten 0069, aka Madam Natasha, coming to you once again. So I do apologize. I always am not around. I drop videos and content. I actually was going to do a content that I was going to work on. I had got as far as doing all the research, but didn't do the video. I do apologize. Maybe next year or some other time, but life has been busy. And yes, I got engaged to who? Mega. Me. Alright, so let's try to do a recap really quick what I've been up to since 2019, I think it is. So 2019, COVID, everything happened. Me and my family was fine until last year when I went out of town to Houston, partied it up for my birthday, for my 46th birthday, and I was fine even when I came back. And I went to physical therapy because I got hit. I had a wreck. I had an accident as well last year. And I went to physical therapy, and before the day was over, I was burned up with a fever. So luckily we got the Omicron virus and not real COVID. I moved from the downtown project ghetto area to a more suburban area. So I'm back in a townhome, which is I'm very proud of. Now, reason for this video is, and I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, is that I'm going to update you. Well, that's the updates of regular things, but this is really about my recent dating experiences and actually going on date. Not just talking to people on apps or anything like that, actually going on dates. So, the first suspect was somebody that I met at an anime convention. If you want to go to Natasha Johnson and check out some pictures from that, it was the first time that in Austin they did an kind of adultish anime convention. I know they have other ones, but this one was specifically like, itchy comp. So I met a cool cat. I thought was cool there. We kind of connected, both Sagittariuses and etc. And we hung out for I think we met day 2. We hung out for up to the end of the con. We kept in contact. We was talking to each other like friendly, stuff like that. I'm like, that's my con buddy, stuff like that. So when I turned 46, we did have a falling out. And then, I still was like, still trying to salvage the friendship, which it was a really big red flag while we fell out. Like, I sent him a picture of my lip when I was in my submissive role, and he didn't appreciate it. And instead of saying I didn't appreciate it, he threw up some childhood trauma that I had shared with him. So, regardless of the fact, I was still trying to be friends with him because, I liked our friendship. Like, I hardly make friends. That's another video. So, when I went out of town, I actually went to Houston, where he was, for a flea market. And also just to let my hair down, do some things that I ain't done in a while. And he came and picked me up. We met up for the brunch / flea market. I asked him because everybody was like, yo, y'all together, because they knew me. They didn't know him. They knew me, but they didn't know him. So they was like, they knew Madam Natasha. They didn't know him. So they was like, I know, you ain't letting him top you, girl. And I was like, we ain't had that conversation yet. But by this time, we was talking for like 3 months, right? All right. So after everything was done and we was enjoying our food, I was like, hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And then he was like, because we have unconventional, we have different aspects of kink, it's obviously not going to be anything. I was like, all right, cool. And this is in December. So I was like, cool. Came back, didn't think anything of it. All of something, I'm close to Valentine's Day. I am preparing to go out of town again. So this is less than a year, okay, and less than a couple months. I'm going out of town again. I'm going out of town with me myself, and I. I'm spoiling me, myself, and I. I booked a hotel for me, myself, and I. I decided where I was going to go, which was a Japanese steakhouse. I had never been to do a hibachi. Or I had, like, when I was way younger, but my girlfriend took me. Not girlfriend, but girlfriend. My best friend from high school. She took me and the kids, but from that time on, I hadn't, like, my kids were small. So this was just me, by myself. Me, myself, and I. So, yeah, I had all that planned. And all of a sudden now, he's going to confess his feelings to me. Like, 2 weeks before my trip. Like, he's like, oh, well, I'm attracted to you physically. And I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? Because I was just there in Houston. Like, where's this coming from? So I was like, we've already discussed that certain things we don't agree upon. I don't agree. Like, I'm not touchy-feely. He was like touchy-feely. I'm not touchy-feely person. That's another video. But I was like, I'm willing to try with you, when we're there. Now, we're 3 hours away from each other. I didn't have a car, of course, because I had just got into an accident. And so I would have to go on a Greyhound. So we had planned, like, after I came back to officially go on a date. But something happened. He was very possessive, jealous, and etc. with me. And we hadn't even been intimate with each other, okay? So we just eventually, he was like, well, we talked about the first red flag, which upset him, and then he was like, forget it. And so I was like, fine, and I was still trying to salvage the friendship. Because again, I don't have friends. So I was still trying to salvage the friendship, and he just didn't want to. So that was February. Okay, fast forward. Sis got engaged to herself. I think I got this ring in June. It says I am enough. I'm not sure if you can see it. So it says I am enough. So got engaged to herself. I have been going out more often. Actually, before June, I went to a concert of my, again, first real concert. Like, paid money for a concert. I've always worked concerts, but never actually went to a concert. So, paid money for a concert and actually gone. So, first concert, had a great time. Again, treated myself to a hotel, spent the night out of town, stuff like that. Came home, and also I got another car. June, engaged myself. I'm starting with slowly. Also, started going to bars locally. I'm trying to cut this short. Try to show bars locally. Halloween, I went out to a local bar arcade, and then because it's so far, and my kiddo took my car because he moved out. I started going to a bar closer to home that's closer. If I needed to walk, I could do that. So I started doing that. My first time I went with somebody who ended up crying about somebody else that I had associationship with earlier this year. Then my first time going to the bar arcade was by myself, and then I met this girl that I kind of wanted to date, but she wanted to think I was on some sister-ish, which I never approached her, but it's some sister-ish. So that fell out. So that's that's like 3 relationships in less than a year, right? Okay. Not really, because the other guy, that was like associateship, and we kind of like met on some, well, you're a masochist and I'm sadist, let's meet and see if we can play. And that's what happened. He ended up crying the whole time. Well, he wasn't really fun, and he cried, and which ruined my whole experience there that night. So I went back by myself, and I got really drunk. This is gonna be long. I'm sorry. I got really drunk, was hitting on everything, because again, I'm 2 years celibate, by the way, and was leaving the club, met this cutie, looked at him. I thought in the beginning, I really thought he was my ex-fiance. And I actually like hit hard on him as well, flirted with him, got his number, called him the next day, arranged to talk. Long story short, we went out once, and then we went out and we talked a lot of times afterwards. And then a second time going out, he canceled on me 48 hours before we were supposed to go out, which was really crazy to me because the week before we was on some conversation about what timing of texting, because I had him on a 3-day text and communication interaction. And even the first time we went out, he was like, oh, I haven't heard from you in 3 days. And I'm like, are we going together? Like, please let me know. Like, I thought you had stuff to do and I had stuff to do, and we have plans. This is just something happening. We're trying to build, I'm thinking we're trying to build into, like, not a relationship, but like a friendship, an associateship, getting to know each other. Anyway, so he cancels on me 48 hours before we were supposed to go out. I go back to the bar where we met. I met him, and sister acted a fool. I ain't even going to go into all that, but she acted a fool. Because you're not going to tell somebody that I'm nothing. Okay? And secondly, I'm going to confront you about it, about what you did, and I'm going to let people know. Like, I normally keep my personal business, very low and very low key. And I don't really tell people like, hey, I'm with so and so, and this is our picture, and I'll post this up on Facebook and stuff like that. But once you piss me off, I'm going to tell the world that we know each other and that we were very close to each other. So that's what happened. And yeah, and that's pretty much it of me dating so far. Long story short, I had 2 people, one that I could have cared about, and another person that I really was kind of starting to have feelings about, that wanted my time, my energy, and etc., without any real commitment to me. And what do we talk about on this page? We talk about that people tell us their intention with us. They want to tell us if they want us, if they need us, and label it and name it. And that's pretty much what I had told him after we had the conversation, that I am not going to put him in a label or category that I want in my life. That he would have to name it and say what it is, and on his own accord. So maybe that was too much of a stress or a pressure to him, especially if you're used to people just putting you in a category that they want you in their life. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this. If you stayed for the whole 14 minutes, thank you so much for the story. Listen to my story. Remember to love yourself, forgive yourself, be true to yourself, be kind to yourself. Forgive others, and always make the most of your day. What is your day one? Take care.